All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to TokiTV, our gathering each and every week for Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's legacy. And we have a super cool guest. I'm having a little bit of an echo, so I'm going to have to play mute here with people. But we are here every single week. This week, we have Dalila Lewis with us from Argentina, and we're going to get to her in just a little bit. And I'm so happy and excited that she's with us. But let's go around the room real quick and check in and see how everyone's doing. We'll start with you, Deb Cruz.
Oh, I'm on. Okay, there we go. Hey, everybody. The only thing I've really got to say at this point is we've got Orca Month coming up. And so right here is the link to all of the different activities and events that are going to be taking place. I'm guessing that we're going to be talking about a few of them in a little more in detail later on. But other than that, life is happening. Be engaged.
Awesome. Thanks, Deb Cruz. Hey, Stephanie, how's it going?
Hey, real good. Happy to be here today. It is Orca Month, and actually, I'm going to be on an island in 2 weeks, and Orca Sing is happening. Finally, after all these years, I'm going to be there for it. So, hoping the residents come and join us. But it's exciting stuff.
Well, they're gathering. They've been hanging out this week. So
yeah, I saw L-Pod, right?
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of L-Pod was out there.
Ocean Sun. They saw her, so she's doing great.
Yes, awesome. Marcia, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing well, thank you. It's the drought here in my area of Florida. We haven't had rain for weeks, and it's hot and crispy and really gross. So that's not fun. But other than that, I'm really excited. My book is finished. It's getting its final edit now, and I'm hoping to have it published by mid-month. So I'll let you guys know when that's available. And it's just a really intimate story about Toki and her effect on people, and also other whales in her same predicament, and how we can gather our forces and help all of them, including Kshamenk. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcia. Alma, how are you? It's sunny Keys, huh?
Yep. Hi from down here in Key West. It's been very warm. We're breaking records, but the heat is bringing the Gambier discus algae down, which is helping with the fish that have been sick since about November. So that's a little bit of good news from down here in my part of the ocean. And it sounds like there's been a lot of good news up in the Pacific Northwest with some orca gatherings and Quisahayas sightings. So I hope Howard or someone has some more news to share about that.
Howard's the guy. Well, Christina, let's check in with you real quick before we get to the Center for Whale Research kind of update on all the whales.
I am really good. I went to the farmer's market yesterday and I got over 75 signatures on my cards to send to President Biden. So that always makes me feel happy because I'm doing my stuff to get those dams breached. And there's a lot of events, like Deb Cruz said, this month. For Orca Month, Orca Awareness Month, and I know there's some really good events coming up. So I don't know when you want to talk about that, but we definitely need to talk about that before the show is over. Let people know.
You could do that at the end so that it's
okay.
Fresh for everyone, and then they know what's coming up next. I think that'll be good.
Sounds awesome.
Deborah, how are you? Uh-oh, I have you muted. I'm so sorry. Let me go back. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. So sad that you guys are so dry because it is so wet here. So all my animals are in the house. I'm trying to keep everybody corralled and dry, but so happy to be here and so happy to learn firsthand what we can do to help Kshamenk down there. He's always in our hearts, and whatever we can do up here, let us know. Let us know. Thanks.
Thanks, Deborah. Howard, let's check in with you. You probably have a lot to talk to us about.
Soaker that we're getting, and I'm really sorry we can't send some your way, Marcia and Alma, to Florida. We're getting a day and a half of rain and wind here. But the whale news is on May 27 that J, K, and L pods all came in. Not quite all of L's. There's a couple of subgroups, matrilines in L pod that didn't show up. They're probably staying out in the open ocean. But L25 Ocean Sun was among them, and looking good. So they came in, and it was a real kind of a mixed behavior pattern. Sometimes they bunched up and got into really nice resting lines, and the Center for Whale Research was out there and did some drone studies. So I'm sure they've got a couple hours of great footage of how they're sharing food and how they're resting together and in their natural lines and how they associate and all kinds of good stuff. So it was a great day for a lot of excited people along San Juan Island and for the researchers also. So that was really good. And otherwise, there have been big transient orcas all over the place all the time, doing some really interesting things. They've been in Hood Canal, which is across where I am, across Admiralty Inlet and down south for, it's been over a week that a very favorite family, the T65As and T63 chainsaw, the notorious ragged dorsal fin male, has been down there with his mom, always with his mom. Whidbey is her name. So they've been delighting people down there. And we've got some really interesting events coming up. Annette, we can talk about that. August 18. The sad memorial will be commemorated with some gathering and sharing and singing and drumming and some ceremony. So that's in the works right now. And before that, the end of this month, as part of Orca Month, it's also the 10th anniversary of the naming of the new ferry, TokiTV. So that will be celebrated with a kind of a festivity on board the ferry. So that'll be a lot of fun, and that'll be a preview of a whole new exhibit on that ferry. A whole new wall will be dedicated to Toki's legacy. To basically, it'll be imagery and a little bit of verbiage, but not a lot. It's going to be mainly a big image of Toki herself, and it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Awesome.
So, and lots more coming up in the Orca Month calendar. So
there's a lot. There's a lot going on, and I think the pre-planning, we had our pre-planning meeting day before yesterday with Howard, and it's going to be beautiful. August 18th. We'll talk more at the end about all the events and kind of go in order because there's a lot, and Deb Cruz has that link up. A lot of good things to happen, and while August 18th was really a heartbreaking day for many of us, it's also the day that Toki got her freedom, and I think it's important to remember that her family gathered to receive her, and so we'll be doing our best to honor that gathering for them as well. So we look forward to that. And then look who just popped on the screen. Oh, he just turned off his camera. Put your camera back on, Alejandro. I'm so happy to see Alejandro.
Alejandro, come back.
Alejandro!
There you are.
How is everybody?
Alejandro, we missed you.
Yes, I'm very busy working from Monday to Saturday. So the only day off I have is on Sunday, and I need to enjoy the life, So I mean, now I got people, family at the clubhouse but I try to make it, the signal is not good. So, 2 minutes away from the clubhouse, we got swimming pool over there, So I said, let me go to my house and do the TokiTV show.
Thanks, Alejandro. It's good to see you. And you guys, today we have with us Dalila Lewis, who is an animal rights activist, a law student, and founder of the group I'm going to mess this up. Activistas, Animalistas de la Costa, which has been promoting the end of marine animal exploitation since 2014. This group has also participated in the presentation of Kshamenk's bill in the Congress and current plaintiff, along with other groups such as Derechos Animales Marinos and independent activists of a class action against Mundo Marino for Kshamenk and his health. So welcome, Dalila. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Annette, for inviting me. Thank you to all of this beautiful group from TokiTV, and to all of the people who are hearing too. And special thanks to Howard Garrett, who has always given his attention and support to Kshamenk. And thanks to Alejandro Dintino, who thanks to him, we knew the cause of Toki, and we did activism together called United for Lolita and Kshamenk. And he was a great help because 8 years ago, he didn't hesitate to spread Kshamenk's cause and to give all his collaboration that he could. So thank you, Alejandro, because in some way you helped to grow the activism here in 2016.
You're welcome.
So I am going to start talking a little bit about Kshamenk, who is him. He's a male orca. I have an image of him. I don't know if.
Go ahead and put it up.
Yes, that's Kshamenk. He's a male orca. He's a transient killer whale. It is believed he's 36 years old. He has been living for 32 years in a dolphin tank, twice his size, because he measures 6 meters approximately, and the pool measures 14 meters in diameter and 6 meters long. So it's very small for him. The story of how he came to Mundo Marino is very controversial because there are two stories. Mundo Marino claims to have rescued him from a stranding, but neighbors and resident people claim to remember another version. Through a forced stranding, there were 4 young orcas in the Bay of San Borombón in Buenos Aires, Providence. They were surrounded by Mundo Marino's ships. One was returned to the sea for being too big for the transfer. Another one died in the transfer. The third orca, once put in the tank, he hit his head repeatedly against the tank wall until he died. So Mundo Marino people came back for the 4th orca and the last one, and he was Kshamenk. He was a calf between 5 and 6 years old. Kshamenk is not the only victim of this aquarium. Before him, 2 orcas were captured and died shortly after. But I would like to briefly comment on their stories. I have another, you can continue with the photos. Yes, that is Kshamenk and the pool. Milagro was a male orca, the first orca that the aquarium owned. He arrived in 1986. The idea was to turn him into a breeding male, but he was very young and he died when he was only 10 years old. It reached such a high degree of malnutrition and dehydration that it had what is known as pignut head, a head so small that the shape of its scroll became noticeable. People were allowed to climb on his back, causing severe skin injuries. He died after 5.5 years of exploitation in 1991 from a vascular collapse, according to the aquarium sources. Belen, I have another image. Yes, she was the second orca. She was captured in 1988. She was crossed with Milagro to obtain calves for the business. What Mundo Marino didn't notice or realize was that Belen was sexually immature for her age. So she suffered several miscarriages. Besides, they made her participate in the shows with jumps and big pirouettes while being pregnant. She was crossed with Milagros and with Kshamenk, but none of them reached sexual maturity. She died in 2000 while pregnant, and since then Kshamenk has not been in company of another orca. All of them, Milagros, Belen, and Kshamenk, have participated in movies, soap operas, and TV shows. Yes, in many of them. Today, Kshamenk is used as a breeding male and through artificial insemination of female orcas in other aquariums around the world. They earn millions of dollars with just a bottle of sperm. We knew this thanks to a report of because the National University of Córdoba, from the Agricultural Science Department, they upload this report, how Mundo Marino stimulates Kshamenk and a female bottlenose dolphin named Floppy with sexual games in order to steal Kshamenk's genetic material and sell it to SeaWorld. In 2002, that's how Makani and Kamea were born, the son of the daughter and the son of Kshamenk. In Argentina, there are so many laws that forbid the capture from the nature of orcas and cetaceans. But it was after 2092 when Mundo Marino captures Kshamenk. In fact, in 1988, thanks to a law, it was prohibited in all the national territory the hunting or capture of orcas, and in 2002 it was extended that prohibition to capture cetaceans. And to complete this legislation, in 2021, thanks to a resolution from the Ministry of Environment for the cases of individuals coming from strandings that are in rehabilitation centers or oceanariums. It is a mandatory for them to the restitution of the marine animals to the natural environment. Thanks to these laws, the aquariums cannot incorporate new orcas or animals coming from the wild. The bad thing is that they are allowed to reproduce them in captivity. The aquarium sells its genetic material to SeaWorld. There is no record. We have asked to the government of Argentina how Mundo Marino exported these materials, and they say they had no records of the authorizations, and there is no paperwork to justify the approval or the rejection, none of them. So the government doesn't know how Mundo Marino sell this Kshamenk's sperm. I would like to mention also that in Argentina there are two aquariums. Mundo Marino, where Kshamenk lives, and there is another one in Mar del Plata aquarium, where live 11 dolphins. 3 of them were exported from Cuba, and the rest were born in captivity. It belongs to the same group, to the same business group that owns Miami Sea Aquariums, the dolphin company. They wanted to, when they bought Aquarium Mar del Plata, I guess I don't remember well the year now, but it was in 2000, after pandemic time, I guess. But they wanted to expand their facilities and their proposals to make it more profitable, but it did not happen. It is also forbidden by a provincial law for the public to come in contact with domesticated animals or to feed them. It is banned. But anyway, both aquariums promote touching the animals or feeding them. I don't want to extend about the consequences of captivity because we all know that. But I would like to say that these places are very hermetic for society because each request for a number for a report on the number of species that can be made takes a long time, and in that time we don't know if those animals are still there. The government has the obligation to ask the aquariums how many animals lives, and despite the government asked them, the aquariums didn't reply. The most visible are the dolphins and the orca, but the others, like the sea lions and seals, are not disseminated, and it is not known how they got to these places. The reports that can give the aquariums are lack of information, context, and the biggest claim is extended for the most visible animals. But this industry depends on the network all these animals, the variety of all of them, to give the visitor a complete experience. All of them are part of this perverse system that abuses the dignity of all the animals and their basic and fundamental rights. From our group, we have always done activisms and claim for all the animals, not just the orca and the dolphins. All the animals have the equal rights and their own reason for being and their own purpose in life that we as human beings are unaware of. But Kshamenk is the most representative emblem of this system. So that's why we talk a lot of him, but he's like the representation of that slavery system. From our group, we have been looking for ways, possibilities for these places to have an end. It cost us a lot. We started in 2014. We were looking for lawyers, marine biologists, qualified people who can help to create together a way to end this industry. It was not easy because the legislation allows the operation of these aquariums. And they are supported under the excuse of education, conservation, and research, such as all the aquariums in the world. And in those times, in 2014, there were not really many options, considering that these places are economically powerful, and the economic power is linked with profit in political sectors as well. Tourism, travel companies, and school trips too. In the case of Mundo Marino, where Kshamenk is located, it is situated in a very remote place. San Clemente, the town, is the poorest town of the coast. And since the creation of Mundo Marino in 1979, most of the people believe, and it was installed in the mentality, that it is a place that generates money and gave work, brought tourism, and accompanies the speech with about rehabilitation of animals, and also the place was supported by the television and politicians, because it is known that Mundo Marino pays for political campaigns and political parties. So activating for the end of the aquariums was really hard in this area of few inhabitants. It was culturally distant from the animal movement in the capital and in the world. I was 16 years old when I started with this cause. I founded the group, and it was born not only because the invisibilization of the animals and their suffering in captivity, but also because it was a blind society and a speculative society in a very remote place, in a very poor place also. And there weren't local people. They were very afraid of Mundo Marino. So when we started, you can imagine that we were seen as bad. We had a bad reputation for being against this enterprise. But prior to 2014, there were another activisms organized by people from outside, from other places, not local people. And thanks to them, I received the information, and so I started with this. I was in high school, and I participated with my class, presenting a video about the captivity of orcas in a documentary contest for schools. Our video was the most voted and deserved the prize, but because of the topic, it was cancelled and taken out of the contest. So we were a group of teenagers. I was 16, and my classmates we were very angry. That opened our eyes and awakened the rebellion of several of us. We were few, but we met through the networks Aledintino, who gave us and sent us a megaphone from the USA, because here there was nowhere to buy a megaphone because it was a very small town. So also in 2016, we created a petition in the platform Change.org, which in 2021 reached the 500,000 signatures. Thanks to that, we were received by the environmental minister, Juan Cabandier. He promised to help Kshamenk, but of course he didn't. He said he was going to launch a bill to ban marine animal shows, but he didn't. But well, in 2021, we met him, and instead of helping Kshamenk, he launched another bill project which was cheating. The animals were left in the same situation, and the project, but thanks to God, the project didn't go further because, well, the ministry doesn't currently doesn't exist. Sorry, but in that year we joined other animal rights activism groups to launch a good and a proper bill project to ban marine animals exploitation. And we joined two other groups, Proyecto Galgo Argentina and a group of lawyers, Equipo Judicial Sandra, with the in order to present the bill and to present the bill, which I would like to mention the author of the bill, who is attorney Mauricio Trigo, because we considered that it was the only way to give a definite solution to aquariums in Argentina. The content of the the bill is quite extensive, and it would deserve a proper explanation from the lawyers. But just to mention, I would like to mention up to, yes, it is an abolitionist content, and the bill prohibits the shows, the reproduction, the sale of the genetic material, the abandonment of the animals, and the closure of the aquariums within 2 years, the transfer and the rehabilitation of the marine animals. So currently, this petition is close to 1 million signatures, and it's directed not only to Kshamenk's rehabilitation, but also to the approval of this law known as Kshamenk's bill, which was presented by Senator Nora del Valle Jimenez. But this one is about to expire because we presented in the Senator's chamber in 2022. So it has 2 years and then it expires. But as we knew that, we presented the same bill project on the other chamber, on the deputies one, in last year. So it is still available to be voted by the senators and deputies. The senator in that moment also promised to carry it forward and gather the signatures of other senators, but she didn't, saying that the situation of the country was not propitious, and well, saying that, and many internal problems. So, well, as I said, we reintroduced it in the Chamber of Deputies by a congresswoman called Natalia Soutos, and it is in force now. She was leaving the office at the end of the year, and there was also a resolving change of politicians. The reality of the country is well known. It is a moral and economic crisis, but well, I have a hope. In that year, also in 2022, it was detected through photos of visitors to Mundo Marino, which uploaded to the networks, and comments that Kshamenk had an evident deterioration of the physical state. And also it was seen that he didn't want to participate in the show. Complaints were made to the Ministry of the Environment, and he was responsible for requesting the report and going to the aquarium and giving an answer to the community. But there were no answers either. And at the end of 2023, we filed legal actions against Mundo Marino Enterprise, Mundo Marino, the foundation, and the Minister of Environment Minister, also against them, with a common and collective purpose of protecting and rehabilitating Kshamenk, acting on behalf of animal activists, marine animal rights, and independent activists. The presentation highlights that Kshamenk is someone. He's a male individual. This is a good thing because the judge recognized this. He's someone, he's a male individual, he's a mammal cetacean belonging to a subtype of transient orcas, originally from southern Argentina. We are currently waiting for the presentation of Mundo Marino. He has to reply our demand. And also we are waiting for a resolution of the judge to remove him from the shows as a first measure. The first step is to take him out of the shows. We are waiting this. When I have more details, I will be informing you on all the updates. I want to clarify that our group continues working on the requirements of the bill as well as the class lawsuit. But we do not continue working with the groups I named before, Proyecto Galo Argentina and Equipo Judicial Sandra, but we continue working with the lawyers, with the attorneys, Mauricio Trigo and Regina Adre, who is another lawyer who has been accompanying us since 2016. She used to have a radio program, and since then she spreads Kshamenk's cause, and she is a teacher and a law career, and she teaches animal rights, and she always talks about Kshamenk's rights on their classes. So thanks to her, we will have a new generation of attorneys who knows about Kshamenk and how to defend animals. So that's why I'm very glad we have her on the class action too, Regina Adre. Well, we continue working with the two attorneys who are the only legal representative before the justice system for Kshamenk. The usual problem, well, we all have, is the lack of professionals with experience to support, accompany, and advise on a rehabilitation plan, and the issue of a sanctuary or marine kennels that can be created in the Argentina Sea. But to think about that, first, we need to know about the real state of the health of Kshamenk. Mundo Marino never presented a serious inform of his health. They say that Kshamenk is fine, that the ribs and the scroll is because he is old. Another thing many people ask want to know, they say they want it's not yes. It's many people ask us about the sanctuary and the rehabilitation plan, but the thing is that we don't have any inform of his current health state. So that's why we couldn't be serious about that before we don't have a serious report. So that's why we are waiting for the judge to give the order to send independent veterinarians to see Kshamenk. Another thing I would like to emphasize is what is, yes, people say, if it is possible to buy Kshamenk. And in order not to have a confusion or request it for donations, the Argentinian legislation, for the Argentinian legislation, Kshamenk doesn't belong to Mundo Marino. He belongs to the national state. And from the point of view of animals' rights, to buy him would be to go back in his consideration as a subject of rights, as a non-human person, and not a things. And besides, it is impossible to buy Kshamenk or to pay Mundo Marino for Kshamenk. Mundo Marino has a temporary custody and a guardianship until his rehabilitation. But the time passed and the government entity didn't demand that obligation. So they never fulfill that obligation of rehabilitate and return him to the sea. What is worse, they kept him as he was of their own. They trained him and they sold their material, their genetic material, and exploit him since the day of its capture. Finally, I would like to comment that our organization, we believe that we believe in the rehabilitation of Kshamenk and in the end of the aquariums in Argentina. Is not a work that can be done by one INGO or by one group alone. And having been the group that started this issue, in no way we can claim the cause in particular, because we are a group thanks to all the people who from the beginning accompanied Kshamenk and his fellow captives when nobody in the country was practically talking about this issue. Marine animals were not even included when talking about animal rights. We always work in a network and we consider everyone part of a process on conquest these animal rights. And in the case of marine animals, we are not a close or a pyramidal group. This is why we have collaborators and activists from different places and different countries too. But for this reason, I am very grateful to all the people who have once joined us or are still with us. And I would like to ask to the listeners for peace when it comes to the dissemination of different criteria, because experience has shown us all how the lack of respect and consideration for the cooperation of others is exposed in the social networks with quarrels or arguments, rivalities, and critical positions, because all of this, which we all are involved, especially in social networks, makes the disunity, the loss of energy, and takes away the value and the importance of the cause. I wish to thank you always. There are too many people to mention, but this path is together in humility, where the only protagonism are the animals that are waiting for their freedom. Well, I hope you could understand me. Sorry for my English. And I am open to questions, or to continue to say more information about something I couldn't, it wasn't well developed or something.
Dalila, you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for giving us all of it. Yes, I can do some clapping. I have everyone muted. Let me unmute everyone so you can hear them clap, or they're muted themselves, I think. But thank you so much. That you were able to give an entire snapshot from the supposed, rescue, which we all, I think, no, that's probably not how that went. They managed to free the largest one, but somehow had to rescue the other one. So that's wild. But thank you so much. I think that when we were talking before, um, you have such a good heart, and that's where this activism, peaceful activism, needs to come from. And you can see that in how you are advocating for all of them. And when the girls were asking earlier before you got on, and I said she's our Howard, because everything there is to do with Kshamenk and the process and what's been done and what's going to be done. One of the questions asked, because there were some deadlines, you mentioned some deadlines with your new lawsuit. Is there a deadline that they have before they have to respond to you about your latest legal request? Do they have a time frame to respond to you?
Now the judge?
Yeah.
Yes, I think we have a month, I guess. Less than a month, the judge should be sending those authorizations to how can I say, universities of veterinarians. The judge send the I even forget the word in Spanish, sorry.
Okay.
Alejandro, el permiso, la autorización a una... creo que no se le puede escuchar. Well, the judge has to send a note for a veterinary university.
I'm not hearing you, Alejandro. I know you're talking, but I'm not hearing you for some reason. You're not muted, but I'm not hearing you. Let's try again. No. Hold on, maybe his headphone. Let's see.
But in the meantime, Alejandro, we are afraid that most of the universities here have a kind of agreement with Mundo Marino and aquariums, because they send their students to study cetaceans there, because the only place where they can study the individuals. So if the judge sent an order for a veterinarian to go and see Kshamenk, we are afraid the veterinarian could say he's okay just because he agrees with Mundo Marino.
Oh, I see.
That's a big problem.
Go ahead, Alejandro. I think we hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Now we hear you, yes.
No, she said like the judge need to send a request.
Yes.
¿A dónde lo tiene que enviar? ¿A dónde lo tiene que enviar el request?
Facultades de veterinaria y biología marina.
Biologist, marine biologist university or something like this, just asking for a request so they can go and check on the status of Kshamenk. How is he doing?
And it would have to be someone from the university, or are there other people that are not connected? Is there anyone not connected with the university that could go do an independent evaluation?
No, by the moment. We are looking for who. Yes.
could be great for Kshamenk to have independent vets, like the same what happened with Toki, is the only way, because we can't trust any people from this, from this place, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
And you can mention, Dalila, that Stephen Wise was in Argentina a few years ago. You remember the Dr. Stephen Wise?
Yes.
You can mention that the Dr. Stephen Wise was there. He argued that whales, dolphins, and chimps had fundamental legal rights. So he was very important, He visited Argentina and was with activists, animal activists, supporting.
Yes, he was here in 2016. Thanks to Regina Adre, the other attorney of the legal class action. She invited him, and he gave a lot of speeches in many universities. And in one of those speeches, we went and we brought Kshamenk's flag, and we all took a photo together. And he said something very nice, but he said we had to work really hard, of course, because we all have to work really hard to free these animals. But yes, he supported us. Yes.
And if the judge comes back and says yes, you can get an independent vet, would they be open to someone coming from out of the country? Like if this group could, get some folks together, or people listening could get some folks together from out of the country, would they allow that, do you think?
I think
Yes,
it's okay.
it is possible. Yes, it is possible. It will be a bet from our part, because once the judge named, they have already done. They have been already named. But yes, of course, it is possible, and it would be wonderful.
Okay. So there's a lot of people like Paula and Brandy, and I know that people on screen here are already thinking of folks that could possibly be. So if you think you'll hear back within the month, then maybe this group get on it immediately and see who would be willing to get out there. If it is allowed, that way there's kind of a team on standby, and we could talk about that off screen as well. But if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments, and we can get in touch with you, Dalila, and put you in direct contact. I think a lot of times people want to help, but I think we could just put you in direct contact with those people. So there's not so many people in between, and we can have them call you directly.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Would be great to put in touch, or to make it workable for the people from maybe the whale sanctuary,
Yeah.
Would be great, because in Argentina they don't have an experience. So we got many people here that can help Kshamenk in that field.
Yeah. Okay. And Brandy's asking, would we have to contact the government? Brandy, I think the government, what she's saying is the judge is going to respond to them, to her group. And so once she knows, then we could work it through Dalila. And I think that if we go through you, that would be smart, since you're the one working with the attorneys.
Sorry, I didn't understand. The government?
Someone was asking if we have to call, if we would have to contact the government to get approved.
Yes, but they have to. Now they are that was before. Yes, before we tell the people to call the government, but as they never answer anything, that's why we demand Mundo Marino company and the government also, because they are as responsible as Mundo Marino is for Kshamenk.
And then people are asking about, the president himself, or, Fatima Flores, if there's been any contact with them directly to ask for their support. to make it happen.
It would be great. Alejandro made a contact with Fatima Flores, and she sent a video giving her support for Kshamenk, but currently we don't have any way how to ask them to a help for the bill. Just in social media we name them. I don't know how to. We put arroba.
The tag, we tag the people.
Yes, we
can
tag
help.
them.
Yeah, the thing is, in Argentina right now, there are many problems, political problems. For the government, for the President Milei, it's very hard to bring a law because everybody, the senators, the politicians are against him because he wants to change 100% the way the politician, how I can say, Milei's capitalism. Milei is, has a different political view. The people before, like the president before, for these last 20 years, didn't care about anything, just steal money, and now the guy is changing everything. It's very hard, so it's dealing with many things at this moment. I don't know if they're gonna listen anything about Kshamenk, but we can try and see. We don't gonna lose anything. Just ask him. I know Fatima Flores. Fatima Flores is an artist. She's a friend. She sometimes visits Miami. I get in touch with her. I can ask her, but I don't know what's going on now, because the president has many problems, big problems, I don't know if they're going to listen to us about the whale, about Kshamenk. Even I don't know who is in charge now in Argentina, or there is a ministry, like it's not, right? We don't have any non-legislation. Yeah. Cabandier used to be the environmental minister or something. Now I don't know what's going on. I don't know who is the person in charge. It
is a small secretary inside of another office, which includes other topics than environment.
Nobody's in charge now.
It exists, but yes, nobody is. It is a small secretary.
Yeah, it's like no government or something, we can contact, really contact. But let's see. We will not lose anything, just asking and see.
Exactly. Mauricio?
I have just a question. I know the marine parks here, especially in Florida, they've been suffering. People aren't paying the gate admissions. They're not as popular. Is Mundo Marino, do they have a lot of people coming every day? Is it very popular? Especially to me, it seems weird because the economy is so shaky in Argentina. Do people have money to go to a marine park? How is that doing business-wise for them?
Yes, in fact, it's quite expensive, but it comes especially in summer and winter holidays when people from other cities and provinces who doesn't know the sea maybe go there. I noticed that I people from the outside the province. And in winter, the problem is that the educational ministry sends money to take the schools there. So it's another way they get the money as recreational and educative trips.
Howard?
Have to go.
Okay. Oops. There he went.
So he left.
He had to go. He had another thing. Dalila, hopefully you can come back on once you have a response from the judge. But before that, I think we'll send you some names of some contacts for possible independent vets, and we'll get that to you by the end of today, and or at least some suggestions and some folks for you to talk to. Thank you so much again for coming on, and you're welcome, anytime. Dalila can tell you, I've been bugging her for a while, and but they've been busy and doing, everything that they're doing with the attorneys and all of that, I know takes time and a lot of your attention. And I just want to thank you so much for everything you've been doing for such a long time. And you're in law school, right? You're a law student?
Yes, I am in the last year.
That's so great. I was just going to ask you how much longer, because we need you out there. Obviously, need you out there.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to all of you. And I am so grateful, so happy for this contact. And sorry for making you wait. Yes, it was a kind of mess last year, and well, this year, this about the vets, and the judge came a few weeks ago, so it's very, very new for us. It's a news for us. So thank you so much, and I will be telling you the updates and what happens next. We have a long path here with the court and the judge.
And you said something that I'm just going to keep remembering, and maybe even hashtag is Kshamenk is someone. And I think that's important for all of us to remember. Thank you so much, Dalila. We absolutely love you. We went a little over. Alejandro, is there anything you want to say before we close?
No, thank you so much, Dalila, for the amazing work you have done all these years. That's why we stay in touch. We did the Animal March. I traveled to Argentina in 2018. We did for Kshamenk, for Lolita. Just they are amazing. Just Dalila and her mom. So we always stay in touch. So I hope to see you again, Dalila, for the update. You are welcome to come and join us again. So, we feel so proud. I feel so proud of you all in Argentina for the amazing job you're doing. Thank you so much, and thanks again.
Thank you so much. I'm going to play the videos, Dalila, before we close. Is that okay?
Yeah,
okay,
thank
so
you.
We'll end with some videos. You guys, think we will have more on this topic, obviously, and then we'll see all of you next week. There's a lot coming up, and we'll try to go through real quick before we close, if that's okay. There's events coming up. We have the ones that are most coming up the soonest, I should say. All our relations tribute to the orca on June 12th at the Seattle Aquarium from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. And I don't know, Deb Cruz, if there's anything you want to say about it, but here's the schedule. Doors open at 6:30. There'll be a welcome. And then the different topics you'll see. And of course, at the towards the end, Jay Julius will be, his topic is Reflections on the Life, Lesson, and Legacies of Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, aka TokiTV. And so I think that's the one that's coming up the soonest. And then you heard Howard talk about the ferry, the anniversary of the ferry. We'll do more next week. You guys go back to that link. Deb Cruz, what was that again? You put it up. Here we go. You guys go to orcamonth.com to check out all the events coming up. Breach the Dam events coming up. Christina, is there something you want to say anything about that before we close?
Well, we're gonna have a big event in September, probably September 7th or 8th. We're still working on it, but it's gonna.
And then there's other Breach the Dam events happening soon.
Well, there was two that just happened this weekend. Well, actually one, because one of them got canceled because it was raining. But
oh right,
there's a lot of events going on. Actually, the one I thought was, it's not about breaching the dam, so sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Well, there'll be plenty of them. And then, like I said, we just had our pre-planning meeting. So everyone, There will be an event on August the 18th on San Juan Island. We did confirm that it will be on San Juan Island at Limekiln State Park. We reserved the time 1 to 4. I don't know that it'll last that entire time, but it'll start at 1 o'clock, August the 18th. So if you need to make your travel plans, do that. Yeah, we'll keep talking more about that. But again, Dalila, thank you so much for being with us today. And we'll close with a couple of videos you shared with us for Kshamenk. Everyone keep Kshamenk in your prayers and keep, like Alejandro said, we could just ask. We could just keep asking, and that's not going to hurt. So close with the videos. Thanks, guys.
Observar esta línea blanca, esta rejilla blanca, marca la distancia con respecto al mar.